Welcome to FitBody Lifestyle, the show where we dive deep into the world of fitness, health, business, relationships, and the art of living a balanced life. I'm Jami.
And I'm Greg, and we're here to give you the benefit of our experiences in the fitness and bodybuilding industry, the corporate world, running a business, personal development, and building healthy relationships.
Whether you're sweating it out in the gym, hustling in your business, or seeking balance in your everyday life, you're in the right place.
So lace up those sneakers and grab that water bottle, and let's get ready to transform our minds, our bodies, and our lives.
Welcome back to another episode of FitBody Lifestyle and our fusion hack for today. We're so excited you joined us. I'm here with...
That's an interesting thing to say. I love you.
I'm so excited y'all joined us. What is...
It's almost like I'm not here all the time, but I am.
No, I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking about the people watching.
I got it. Oh, we're so excited that
They
our
joined
audience
us.
joined us. Okay, gotcha. Sorry. I'm slow
my
on the
gosh.
uptake.
Can't take him anywhere.
Yeah, sorry.
Just kidding. So we did a longer episode earlier this week talking about peak week strategies. And one of the areas that we didn't get into that we want to cover for our hack today is that final stage presentation look. So, talking about the glam, the tan, and the posing. So kind of finalizing the aspects that are going to give you that amazing look on stage.
And I think at the outset, what I would say about this is, as we talk about this, we're going to talk about, what to do, but the planning for this is weeks, months in advance, for makeup, hair, suit, polish, all those things that go into presenting your best physique and your best version of you on stage.
Right. So let's start with the glam.
Okay.
So when I talk about glam, we're talking about really hair and makeup primarily. Like you said, and that's going to be part of this hack, is that this is something you start planning far in advance. I would definitely say that you start looking for your artist at least like 6 to 8 weeks out if you can. If you can book early, you're going to usually get a better time. Not always, a lot of times they'll go in the order of the show, but you also will ensure that you get the artist that you want as well. Depending on the show, sometimes the artists at the shows are great. Sometimes they're not. So I would just do a little bit of homework and research, what artists are going to be at that show, look at their work. If you can connect them in advance, that would be great. Go in with an idea of what you want your look to be. Do you want your hair straight? Do you want it curly? Are you going to put in extensions? If you are going to put in extensions, does the artist that you choose do that? Because sometimes they expect you to come with them already in, and other times they may charge you a little bit more to put them in, but they need to know because they need that extra time when they're booking. So those are really important pieces of information. And this is one area, please don't skimp on, because when we can see those tracks of extensions that you put in yourself, it's you want that
It's
polished look
distracting.
on stage. Yeah, absolutely. So
You don't want people talking about the tracks they're seeing on your. You can have the most fantastic physique. You want people talking about that, not the tracks that they see in your head.
Exactly. So, going in to your glam appointment prepared, maybe you've got some pictures of something you like. Minimally, you've got some things that you can tell them, hey, I really don't want you to put pink on my lid, or, whatever, give them some feedback. I think it's great to, trust the artist, especially if you know them already. And at the same time, if there's something you don't like, let them know ahead of time so that they don't give you what you don't want. So I think that's really, really important. The final thing too on that one, speak up. If you don't like something in that moment, check it
You're
before
paying for
you, yes, check it before you leave the artist so that, if there's something you don't like, they can fix it. I have so many times athletes come to my room and they're like, I hate my makeup or I hate my hair. And I'm like, did you tell them? Well, maybe they could have fixed that. You may also want to be prepared with some things to touch yourself up as well. I know a lot of times, people will like to do that, whether it be the lip color, a little bit of powder for the face, maybe a little bit of bronzer, in case you need that. It's good to have at least a few items with you.
And a couple other components that I would add to this is one, some people do their own makeup. And if you're adept at doing that, great. And here's the question that I would ask you to ask yourself is, you may be great at makeup and you may be great at applying it. Are you familiar with doing stage makeup? Because stage makeup is different than everyday makeup or even going out makeup. It's a little bit different because the lighting is so harsh on stage and so bright on stage. got to be familiar with what goes into a stage makeup versus what goes into everyday
Right. Plus, you're
makeup.
going to
So,
be a much different color than you normally are. So if
right.
you're using your foundation and your other things that you would use normally, that's not going to work for show day. So, I mean, like you said, I mean, if you do want to do it yourself and you don't think it's going to stress you out too much, just practice in advance, and
Right.
that way, you'll know it's going to look
And
good.
I know we have some of our athletes that do their own makeup and they're very good at it. And it takes away one less thing that you need to plan for show day from a timing point of view. So it can work really well to your advantage. Just make sure, again, show day is not the day to practice that. So is what I would say. The second thing I would say is on your hair. And we did an episode on being your authentic self. And I think that hair, one of the things that as a man I've become very sensitive to over the years is how important hair is for women,
And for a lot of men.
and for a lot of men. And I would say the difference here is that in bikini in particular, hair is such not just a part of your authentic self, but it also becomes a strategy for how it is framing your physique. Is it covering your shoulders? Is it not covering your shoulders? How far down to the back does it go? Does it go down to the back? Does it cover your upper back? Does it not cover your upper back? If you're a little wide in the midsection, should it be a little bit longer in order to mask that a little bit? You've got to be strategic in terms of thinking about the hair and hair extensions, because the hair is not just there from a fit and finish point of view, but it's also there from a presentation point of view. How is it going to help shape and frame your body? If you are a little bit wider up top in terms of your clavicular width, is the hair something that you need to come over a shoulder in order to kind of create that illusion that you're not as wide up top? Those are things that you need to play. And is it easier to do that if your hair is curly versus if your hair is straight? These are a lot of things to take in consideration. I know these are just some of the things that I've been thinking about as we've worked with athletes over the year. But in particular, the length of the hair can be so important, especially if you're trying to cover up or proportionalize, if that's the right word, your back pose.
Right. I think where this comes in the most, and you can wear short hair. So
Yes,
there's no rule
absolutely.
against it. The thing you have to think about is as women, a lot of times we get a lot leaner up top before we get lean enough in our lower body. So what can end up happening is if the hair is not covering the back, if the back looks a little bit too lean, that's where you can get in trouble. So it kind of depends on how you carry your body fat. Like
Right.
there's some people that do great and they have shorter hair. It's no problem at all. The way that it comes out is perfect. Other people, if they're like what I described, maybe they're more of a pear shape. They carry more of their body fat on the lower body. They're going to be a little bit too lean up top before they get lean in their lower body. And, you can disguise that a little bit by using the hair. So you're absolutely right. Like hair can be very strategic. I love when people wear their natural curls. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm a curly girl myself, so I love that too. If that's something that works, but everybody's different. It's finding what makes you feel beautiful at the end of the day and complements you the best.
And I know we're on time for this, but and this may go a little bit later. But we have had multiple athletes come to us that, especially with curly hair, and they say, "Oh, I needed to wear my hair flat, and I just never felt like myself wearing my hair flat." And it's like, wear your hair natural and curly, and it's amazing the difference in the presentation that you see from them when they're wearing their hair natural. So that authentic piece, don't underestimate the importance of that in terms of your stage presentation, and be strategic. It's just a few things that you want to take into account.
Right. Okay. So we covered glam. Let's jump over to tan. So definitely you want to have this decision made far in advance. Are you going to do the DIY or are you going to go with the host tanner? There some host tanning companies that are better than others. If you're unfamiliar, sometimes the more tried and true way would be the DIY. I know sometimes people are afraid of doing it. We've done episodes. I know we have some more coming out to talk even more about that process. But if you are going to do that, you want to have all your products with you ready. In advance. I have people like, oh, my DIY products haven't come in and they're getting ready to leave. Like that, you want to make sure that's all done far in advance. If you're getting sprayed by the host, that's another one of those. Check the tan before you leave. If there's anything that's off, tell them right away so they can fix it. Sometimes the lighting in their rooms just aren't as good as it should be, so they might miss a spot or something like that. If you've never competed before, it's going to be some trial and error, of what tan looks best on you. So if you want to try it out in advance, you certainly can.
Just don't do that during peak week.
Right, 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 right. You wanna make sure you're able to get it off completely before, you reapply. Although, I mean, we have people that do back-to-back peak weeks. If you do that, there is, most of the tanning companies sell a product that helps to remove it, or baby oil works really well. Just kinda dousing that baby oil, soaking, and then, you don't wanna scrub it off really hard because it's gonna create, like, more of a, scaly sort of look. So if you are gonna do back-to-back shows, like a week apart where you may not get it all off, I encourage you just to kind of buff it off nice and even so that way when you're reapplying, it doesn't look splotchy. Interested in changing your life or stepping on stage? Join FitBody Fusion today.
Experience the FitBody Fusion difference with tools, knowledge, and community support to reach your healthy and sustainable lifestyle.
We guide thousands on their fitness journeys, from seasoned athletes to those who are simply seeking a healthier life.
Our expert coaches provide personalized plans and unwavering support, empowering you to thrive.
FitBody Fusion is more than just training. It's a community. We understand the challenges of solo fitness journeys, which is why we foster a supportive environment where members encourage and motivate each other.
Join the FitBody Fusion community today and unlock your full potential.
Head to fitbodyfusion.com to sign up for a free consultation.
And do it today. What about shoes?
For peak week,
No,
having
for
your
on stage.
yeah. So I mean, having your shoes in advance, same thing. I would not recommend getting brand new shoes. And wearing them the first time on show day. You don't want to be breaking them in on show day. So, I would rather in a really nice broken in pair of shoes that are comfortable on me than, some big bling, beautiful shoes that I'm trying for my first time, whether it be on show day or peak week. You're not going to break it in within a week. So I would encourage you to have shoes that are already broken in, you're comfortable in them, you can walk in them.
And you can use a blow dryer to help heat up that plastic on the competition shoes to help them fit a little bit better and mold to your foot. What about let's talk about suit.
Okay. So again, that's one of those things that should be ordered and taken care of far in advance. A lot of times people are not going to be posing regularly in their competition suit just to save it. So it's not you cannot
Stressed
kind of
out or whatever, yeah.
pulling and tugging on it constantly. So most people will use a practice suit. You still need to keep checking your stage suit, as the weeks progress and as your body's changing to make sure it still fits. Because sometimes they do need to have them taken in, at the end. Most of the suit manufacturers will leave like a little tab on the suit on the bottoms, and so that way, if you've lost more weight and it's starting to get loose, they can, you can just have it altered, and it's just a quick little stitch. Actually, Margaret, we did a whole episode with Toxic Margaret from Toxic Angels, and she talks a lot about this. So if it's something you want to know more about, but I would still be checking your stage suit, making sure it still fits, and being gentle with it so you don't break it.
And as Margaret covered all of this, but just by one thing, I'll just foot stomp here is fit is the most important thing in your suit, and that's why Jamie's talking about adjusting it, maybe altering it if you need to, if you've lost more weight. But fit is the most important thing. Always prioritize fit over color, I would say.
Yeah, the fit is the most important. But I mean, you've made all these decisions by this
Yeah.
point, on color and things like that. I mean, this should not be anything surprising coming into peak week. If you do have an extra suit, it's always great to have it with you, have safety pins with you, have a little sewing kit with you. I know that Margaret mentioned she actually sells like a little kit that you can bring with you just in case anything were to go wrong. So coming in prepared for that. I know we talked a little bit about massage, and, if you're going to do any kind of body work, it needs to be nice and gentle, just really relaxing, and everything's about recovering during that week. The other thing would be, of course, posing. So during peak week, this is your time to really practice and make sure you've got your posing down. I know a lot of people pose all year long, which is great. And one of the things I see people do, the further are out from the show, sometimes they tend to over pose. So say in their back pose, they're over pushing because they want to see their tie-ins when they're not quite stage lean. Now, once we're in peak week, we've got our final product. We know what we're going to look like. So then that's when those little fine tuning last little bits of modifications are going to happen. Do we turn the toes out a little bit more? Turn the toes in a little bit more? Are we turning out the knees? Are we, how much are we twisting? Because Now we can see the finished product. We want to make sure we can see all the lines and the shape. So those last minute little modifications to posing should then be finalized and practiced so that once you get on stage, there's no question in your head as to whether you're doing it correctly.
I think the only other topic that we haven't covered when it comes to peaking or nailing that show day look is jewelry.
Mm, yes. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because for me, I've always been less is more on the jewelry front. I do think that it can be distracting if it's too much. Necklaces are, I would say, a no-no. It's just distracting. So a nice pair of earrings is nice. A bracelet or a bracelet on both sides is great. If you want to wear a ring or some rings, I think that's fine. Just there every once in a while I'll see somebody with some dangly things or something that's just kind of a really different color that really draws the eye to it. Again, it's up to you at the end of the day, but I encourage people to I don't want just like you said with the hair, we don't want people to go, oh, look, there's a track in her hair, and that's all they're focused on. I don't want somebody, oh, look, she's got this weird thing hanging from her wrist. To me, I just want everything, the fit and finish to be beautiful and it just all complement each other.
Yeah, and I think the analogy that you drew to, you don't want to be looking at tracks in the hair. I think about that with belly button rings as one of those areas, because if you have a belly button ring but it has a dangly part to it, sometimes that can be a little bit distracting. So if you have the opportunity or can change that out to something a little bit more simple, I think that does help. But what I would say on the jewelry, and I'm going to extend that to nails. I will never forget there was an athlete on stage once, and her nails were extra long and extra yellow. And I was looking, and she had a great physique, but man, I had a really hard time focusing on the physique because I kept looking at the nails, which were neon yellow. They just and she was on stage, and you could just see them every time she moved. The nails just predominated. So focus on what you're there for. You're there to showcase your physique. I think the jewelry aspect, in my mind, the way I think about it is, does it make you feel beautiful? Does it make you feel confident? If it does, great, wear it, because you want to feel those things on stage. If it doesn't contribute to your final look, if it doesn't contribute to your confidence and your sense of your own self and your own sense of being authentic, then you don't need it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought the nails up because I didn't have that thought on my list, but you're absolutely right. I tend to think, you know, you just wanna look
Yeah,
polished, you want everything to look polished. I know I've had people freak out, "Oh my god, I didn't have time to get my nails done." It's not the end of the world. They're not gonna be
they're not
fixated on your
looking
nails.
at your nails
Honestly, I'd
unless
rather
unless you make them look
yeah,
at your
I'd rather
nails.
them just be subtle and just, not even
Yeah, French. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, just even natural nails
yep.
versus something that's gonna be distracting. Because again, it's I mean, while they may look beautiful and they might be a lot of fun, this is a physique competition, so we really just want everything to flow and not be the focal point.
Right, and we could extend that to makeup, where we've seen people use glitter on the eyes, and there's a point where it
Yeah, a little bit
works,
is fine,
a little bit
yeah.
works, and there's a point where it goes too much, and then it becomes distracting. So if we're going to talk about an overriding kind of concept about this, it's polished. Professional, you're there to showcase your physique, not your makeup. You're there to showcase what the work that you've done in the gym, not your hair. These are accessory items to showcasing the primary thing that you do want them to see, which is your physique. So if you're showing them something that's different, you're wearing a pair of shoes that have I think of the kids that have the shoes that light up with the little neon lights when they walk. Those are cute as hell. They're not for the stage. And I don't know that I've ever seen an athlete wear them, but I also don't. I'm betting, just having been around this sport, there's some people that have considered doing that, just to make a show because they think, oh, that's going to be really cool on stage. What sounds cool in concept may not be cool in execution because it's distracting. And what you want the judges focused on is your physique. That's what you're presenting. So focus on that. Focus on the other parts are accessories that should do what an accessory does, which is help to frame. It's like, if you're looking at the Mona Lisa, if you're focusing on the frame of the Mona Lisa, then you're missing the Mona Lisa. You want to be looking at the Mona Lisa. So make your frame complementary, not the headline.
Okay, before we wrap up,
Yeah.
one more that, popped in my head that we need to talk about is hair removal.
Oh, good. Okay.
We definitely had some issues with that this past year, specifically with people getting waxed. And we had two athletes that I can think of that got waxed regularly, but for whatever reason, when they went and got their final wax during peak week, it ripped off a layer of their skin and their
E.
tan did not go on evenly because it was, that skin was damaged, or, even once it starts to heal, that fresh skin doesn't take the tan in the same way as the existing skin. So if you're going to do waxing, first of all, I would just only do the areas you need to. In both of these instances, one was shoulders and one was glutes. If you're not really hairy there, like if you just have like peach fuzz hair, you do not need to remove every
Right.
hair from your body. I mean, unless it's like really coarse, obviously legs, armpits, if you've got a lot of hair on the arms, but I didn't even ever do my arms and
No.
the tan goes on beautifully. So, when in doubt, like less is more. I wouldn't, just do your full body. Most people don't need to do that. You can use the creams, the Nair, things like that. I wouldn't try it for the first time during peak week. If you're going to use something like that, do it far in advance. Make sure it doesn't irritate your skin or anything like that. And then if you're going to shave, you just want to make sure that you allow the pores and the hair follicles to close before you get spray tan. So you don't want to do it like right before, like come out of a hot shower, everything's open, you just shaved, and then you go in and tan, because that tan's going to go into those pores and give you like that chicken skin looking. So you want to just give yourself enough time to cool down and everything to kind of close up before you go tan.
And the shave that you get from a new razor is going to be markedly different from the shave that you get from an old razor. So just be mindful of how your skin reacts to that. New razors are going to be smoother, but you don't want to press quite as hard because they can irritate the skin. And old razors are just no good at all.
Right. You should be
Yeah.
exfoliating for
Yep.
at least 2 weeks, coming in every single day and moisturizing every single day. Then you'll stop your moisturizer after your last shower, before your first tan. And then, of course, at that point, you're not going to use deodorant either. So just a couple other things I wanted to throw in there to make sure, and just in case people weren't aware.
Those are good. So we talked about hair, we talked about makeup, we talked about jewelry, we talked about suits, we talked about tanning, we talked about nails. Boy, I'm going down this list really quick.
Hair removal,
Hair removal. I think we covered
posing.
posing. And just make the day about you and feel beautiful and be beautiful and really focus on that physique. So, anything else?
I think we covered it.
Then remember, everybody, to truly nail your peak week. Like, comment, subscribe, leave your reviews. Okay.
Oh my
I know.
God.
This has become a game now for me, so I'm going to figure out a way to make our topics work in that. And truly, we do appreciate your support. Thank you for supporting the channel. Please share with your friends and let us know how we can provide the content that you want to hear about. And remember the 3 B's, which is
Be good to yourself.
be good to each other and
Be
be
safe.
safe. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to FitBody Lifestyle. We hope today's episode has left you feeling motivated and equipped to tackle your fitness goals, business challenges, and the daily dance of life. Remember to value progress over perfection. Life's tough enough alone. Find the chosen family around you to help you along the way.
If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite streaming platform. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at FitBodyFusion.